What happens when a woman is left without a single hand beside her and only God remains to hold her up? How does Scripture reveal the hidden strength born in sacred isolation? Today you will see the truth that makes her unstoppable, the true path of a woman who moves forward with no one but God. When friends fade, when the relationship collapses, when the support network gives way and the phone answers with silence, one voice never fails: heavens, stay. Because what many call loneliness, God turns into a training ground. In seconds, you will notice the key that turns silence into direction. If right now the house is quiet, if the messages stopped arriving, if the chairs look emptier than ever, breathe. What you feel is not an ending. It is a threshold. The absence of noise is not emptiness. It is space. And that space is where God works with precision. No one applauds it or photographs it, but there the things are forged that later hold up entire seasons. Very soon, you will see the detail almost everyone overlooks when life runs out of witnesses. When the voices around you go out, the voice that guides appears. Before, a word of yours needed confirmation from several people. Now, inner peace is worth more than any external approval. Before, a plan rested on human promises. Now, one small step in obedience weighs more than 10 speeches. Instead of thinking, I don't have anyone anymore, you begin to recognize I have God, and with God, I have direction. Leave your comment now. I am not alone. God holds me. Subscribe if you want direct, practical words. We continue because what comes next can change your night. A woman can spend years staring into borrowed mirrors. Too much, too little, never enough. Until one day the mirrors shatter, and when they do, only one remains, the one God holds. That mirror does not exaggerate your light or hide your shadows. It speaks truth, and that truth, affirmed without an audience, arms you within to walk without someone else's crutches. Soon you will understand why this quiet truth defeats noises that once paralyzed you. Look at the scene. The job is gone, the relationship split, the calendar filled with gaps. She tidies her room at midnight so the outer order won't disorder her within. She finds a phrase in a notebook: return to the source. It isn't a trendy slogan. It is an instruction. She chooses to obey. She opens Scripture without hurry. She is not looking for quick tricks. She is seeking a word that aligns. That night there is no applause. There is slow breathing. There is silence. And in that silence, the compass begins to point again. In minutes, you will know 3 simple decisions that turn nights like this into a true workshop of growth. There are pains that bend and pains that tune. There are silences that drain and silences that order. The difference is not only in what happens, but in what you do with what happens. If you treat silence as punishment, you shrink. If you embrace it as an appointment, you expand. This happens in real homes, sleepless beds, kitchens where someone whispers, God, here I am. That here I am opens doors that noise never opened. You will see it more clearly when we learn to detect the instruction inside the emotion. Notice something key. When external supports disappear, you are not left disabled. You are positioned to use what has always been inside. The peace was already there. The discipline was already there. The capacity to listen was already there. It's just that the outside volume would not let you hear them. Now, when the external quiets, the internal can be heard. And what is yours, when God affirms it, stops being whim and becomes conviction. At the first dawn after a long night, she chooses something small. Do one thing well. Not 10, 1. Tidy the desk and devote 15 minutes to the postponed reading. She does not need an hour and a half. 15 with awareness are enough. That small faithfulness carves a groove. Grooves become roots, and roots pull you out of the swamp. There is a harmful belief that sticks when the support network breaks, that worth is measured by how many people surround you. History teaches something else. Defining decisions are made in secret, not because secrecy is comfortable, but because it is clean. In secret, the outside echo drops and the instruction rises. Many decisions are damaged by an excess of opinions. Sometimes the greatest act of care is lowering the noise to hear the line that truly belongs to you. distinguish two pauses. One parks you in place. It sounds like paralysis, guilt, and self-accusation. It does not propose. It repeats. The other prepares you. It asks for one small step and sustains you with peace. It does not demand spectacle. It asks for consistency. It does not force you to prove. It leads you to obey. If there is peace and a possible step, it is not stagnation. It is a workshop. This distinction protects you from confusing silence with abandonment. There are losses that without guidance leave a hole. With guidance, they leave availability. Available not for just anything, but for what is truly yours. Availability is not passivity. It is posture. You leave open spaces so the right instruction can arrive and find you in position. When you are available, you stop chasing what distracts and start receiving what builds. Imagine this. She comes home from a heavy day, bills on the table, a pending report, a photo that hurts. She could seek noise, but she turns off the screen. She sits and breathes, inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6, 3 times. The body slows down. The soul stops being dragged by anxiety. She opens the marked page. She reads in a low voice a line that touches her. She forces nothing. She lets it in. She responds with an honest prayer. In that honesty, she feels held. No one would see it from the outside, but inside a stone moved that had been holding an old fear. Today it starts to give way. Here is the promised map for difficult nights. It is simple, because at night the brain needs clarity. 1. Stop and breathe until your pulse settles. 2. Open scripture and read slowly until a sentence lights you up. Do not seek quantity, seek clarity. 3. Respond with the most honest prayer you have, even if it is a sigh. 4. Choose one small action and obey today. Send that email, wash those dishes, walk for 10 minutes. 5. Give thanks for one concrete thing. Repeat tomorrow. It does not win headlines. It wins mornings. And a collection of mornings gives you a life that endures. Change your relationship with rejection. Before it was a hammer, now it is a filter. The hammer destroys. The filter clarifies. If someone does not choose you, you no longer sink into, I'm not worth anything. You ask calmly, was this really mine? If the inner answer is no, you release without hatred. That is possible when identity is fed from the inside out. If the source of value is presence and not applause, rejection stops dictating seasons. It merely closes doors that were not yours. Leave your comment now. I am not what was denied to me. I'm what God affirmed. You may ask where strength comes from when you are tired. It does not come from denying reality. It comes from accepting what is and choosing small obedience. The deepest strength does not always sound like euphoria. It often feels like a sober calm that allows you to take today's step. That calm is a gift cultivated by habit, a little each day until it forms muscle. And that muscle holds you when the wind rises. Let's correct a myth. Unstoppable is not never getting tired. Unstoppable is not quitting, even tired when the instruction is clear. Unstoppable is not never crying. It is not letting the tear decide the route. Unstoppable is not having everything solved. It is solving with the right guidance. The unstoppable woman does not run after everything. She walks her path with firmness. She does not fill gaps with noise. She fills them with presence. She does not look for instant relief. She seeks direction. This definition frees you from unnecessary guilt and focuses you, another scene of true peace. She was always the strong one in the group until she broke. The full calendar held her for a time until the calendar went empty. One morning, washing a cup, she finds herself singing softly without planning it. No one sees her. It is not performance. It is reflex. That simple song points to something deep. Peace does not depend on the calendar. It depends on the source. When the source is God, even a silent kitchen becomes a meeting place. That peace does not shout. It sustains. There comes a moment when silence no longer frightens. Not because the pain has disappeared, but because conviction has become stronger than the noise. Conviction does not make you insensitive. It makes you stable. The sea may move, but the anchor is inside. That stability is a quiet testimony. For days of urgent decision, ask yourself 4 questions. Do I have peace or only hurry? Does this add to my purpose or only fill a hole? Can I obey one small step today, or do I need a mountain of conditions? Can I explain it simply or only with long excuses? If there is peace, purpose, a possible step, and a simple explanation, you are ready. If not, it may be wise to wait a day. There is no promise of days without trial. There is presence in every day. There are no guaranteed shortcuts. There is guidance at every crossroads. There are no roads always dry. There is a hand that takes you, so you do not sink. That is why, even if it hurts, this season is forming you. You do not end up broken. You end up shaped. You do not end up empty. You end up available. You do not end up behind. You end up prepared. Evening settles over the house. The window lets in warm air. The room is in order. The table clear. The empty chair ready. You sit, not out of passing emotion, but by choice. You breathe. You open the page. A line finds you. It does not promise spectacle. It offers firmness. You close the page with respect. You rise different, not because the world changed, but because you are anchored. Tomorrow the wind may return. Today you remembered the essential. When no one else holds you, God holds you. And that makes you unstoppable. Leave your comment now with the phrase, "unstoppable with God." In one line, write what changed inside you today. Subscribe and turn on notifications to walk this path together. Share this message with 2 people who today feel they were left without human support. We are awake. What God began in secret does not end here.